idea to do this since I'm the first one. Just go ahead.
Yeah, I could give you more direction, but I'm not sure. You got an introduction?
Yeah.
Start with that.
Alright, so, well, how many of you guys were spanked when you were a child? So, pretty much everyone. Alright. Well, I'm going to talk about how, well, I'm against spanking, so pretty much my claim is that spanking is ineffective and that it instills a negative impact on children, and these are my reasons why. I've done research, and my research says that spanking a child will stop the child from misbehaving momentarily, but overall, throughout time, they'll go back to their own ways. So it's ineffective in a way, but it will only work for a while, and then they start going back to more rebellious state. They usually tend to be even more rebellious after. So spanking, well, and then that also leads to my next part, which is spanking will tend to lead to physical harm, because when children stop responding to spanking, parents usually go overboard to the next level and start using other influences, such as like beating with other objects. They might sometimes, well, we have one right here where we have one study from the University of North Carolina that shows that there have been punishments such as beating, burning, kicking, hitting with an object other than on the butt, and even shaking them traumatically, which goes to my next claim, my secondary claim, which is it mentally scars the mind. Spanking leads to higher levels of adult depression, psychiatric problems, and addiction. And on top of that, it may trigger criminal activities, antisocial violence, or even aggressive behavior in life in the future. And another study of 442 boys found that 1 out of every 3 boys, those who have been picked with a specific version of the gene, was not treated during childhood, and they exhibited antisocial or criminal behavior as an adult. Another claim is that one study at the University of New Hampshire found that spanking children might reduce their IQ up to 4 points. Also, when you spank a child, they'll see it as a way that it's okay to use physical to attack people, pretty much. So when they grow up, they tend to be more violent with people and hit them too. Also, spanking will tend to reinforce resistance, revenge, and resentment. So pretty much a child will grow to they might have become like more bitter, and they'll probably turn to more criminal activity. And I've done some research on the other side of my claim, and I'll quote right here. We have been unable to locate any credible research material that finds corporal punishment, which is spanking, of children to be useful. The material that we have found indicates that it is ineffective and counterproductive. However, punishment is recommended in the Bible. So the only thing that is for spanking is the Bible. So that's the only thing that I found. And pretty much, do I have to take all 5 minutes?
No.
Alright, that pretty much sums it up. So my points are that people spank children with the intention of making them better, but you have a counter effect on them by it's been proven to be ineffective and harm them more than benefit them. And it causes physical as well as mental problems, and that's
All right, Danny, you've got an OK attention device. You identify your proposition, but it has two parts to it instead of a single claim. I thought that you had identified the main 2 points that you were going to be supporting, but as you went along, it just seemed like you added another point, and then another point, and then another point, and it became a string of conclusions from studies instead of a cohesive argument that was building toward a conclusion that the studies were supporting. And I think that that's a bit of a problem. The organization breaks down as a consequence. You're very dependent on hypothetical examples in the first section, and when you get to actual research on the second section, some of it's a little bit conclusionary. It's interesting that the one study that you had at least some statistical data in suggests that spanking reduces people's IQ points by as much as 4 points. So you're all saying that we're stupider than we could have been because we were spanked by kids, because didn't everybody put their hands up in the air, right? All right. So your parents may, that's why you're here instead of, SC. I don't know. The sources, you quote the universities that the studies come from, but I don't know who the authors of the studies were. I don't know what departments those studies were. We don't know when they were done, so your source citations need to be a little bit more complete. So the organizational issues, source citations are a little bit of a problem. I thought you had pretty good audience contact at the beginning, but the more involved you got in the string of issues that you're talking about, the less you were talking to us, and the more it just seemed like you were going to the next issue, the next issue, the next issue. So it structurally needs a little bit of work. All right, thank you.